Powerful quake in Southeast Asia kills several. Myanmar declares state of emergency. March 28. A powerful earthquake rocked Southeast Asia on Friday, killing several people, bringing down a skyscraper under construction in Bangkok and toppling buildings in neighboring Myanmar, where the ruling junta declared a state of emergency in some areas. At least 3 people were killed in the town of Taungoo in Myanmar when a mosque partially collapsed, witnesses said, while local media reported that at least 2 people died and 20 were injured after a hotel collapsed in Ong Ban. In Thailand, at least 1 person was killed and dozens of workers were rescued from under the rubble of the skyscraper that had been under construction in Bangkok. Thailand's National Institute of Emergency Medicine said. Bangkok city authorities declared the capital a disaster-stricken area, saying they needed to assess and monitor damaged areas and assist people who might still be at risk. In Bangkok, people ran out onto the streets in panic, many of them hotel guests in bathrobes and swimming costumes as water cascaded down from an elevated pool at a luxury hotel, witnesses said. The United States Geological Survey said the quake, which struck at lunchtime, was of 7.7 magnitude and at a depth of 10 kilometers. It was followed by a powerful aftershock. The epicenter was about 17.2 kilometers from the Myanmar city of Mandalay, which has a population of about 1.5 million. Myanmar's ruling military declared a state of emergency in multiple regions. The state will make inquiries on the situation quickly and conduct rescue operations along with providing humanitarian aid, it said on the Telegram messaging app. Mandalay is Myanmar's ancient royal capital and at the center of the country's Buddhist heartland. Social media posts showed collapsed buildings and debris strewn across streets in the city. Reuters could not immediately verify the posts. One witness in the city told Reuters, "We all ran out of the house as everything started shaking. I witnessed a 5-story building collapse in front of my eyes. Everyone in my town is out on the road and no one dares to go back inside buildings." Another witness in the city, Tet Nang U, told Reuters that a tea shop had collapsed with several people trapped inside. "We couldn't go in," she said. "The situation is very bad." At least 3 people died after a mosque in Taungoo partially collapsed, 2 eyewitnesses told Reuters. "We were saying prayers when the shaking started. 3 died on the spot," said one of 2 people who spoke to Reuters. Local media reported a hotel in Ong Ban in Shan State crumbled into rubble, with one outlet, the Democratic Voice of Burma, reporting 2 people had died and 20 were trapped. Video and images posted by Myanmar now showed a roof cratered at a market in the capital, Naypyidaw. In Mandalay, the outlet's images showed a clock tower had collapsed and part of the wall by Mandalay Palace was in ruins. China's Xinhua news agency said strong tremors were felt in southwestern Yunnan province, which borders Myanmar, but there were no reports of casualties. Witnesses contacted in Yangon, Myanmar's largest city, said many people ran out of buildings. Office tower shakes in Bangkok. One office tower in downtown Bangkok swayed from side to side for at least 2 minutes, with doors and windows creaking loudly, witnesses said. Hundreds of employees filed out via emergency stairs as some shocked and panicked workers froze. Loud shrieks could be heard as the building continued to sway. Outside, hundreds gathered in the afternoon sun, while staff with medical kits found office chairs for the elderly and people in shock. China's Xinhua news agency said strong tremors were felt in southwestern Yunnan province, which borders Myanmar, but there were no reports of casualties. Reporting by Devika Nair in Bengaluru, Shu Nang, Devjit Ghoshal, Martin Petty in Bangkok, writing by Raju Gopalakrishnan and John Mayer, editing by Christian Schmalinger. Sri Navratnam and Francis Carey. Powerful earthquake rocks Thailand and Myanmar, killing at least 2 in Bangkok high-rise collapse. A 7.7 magnitude earthquake rocked Thailand and neighboring Myanmar midday on Friday, killing at least 2 people in Bangkok and burying an unknown number when a high-rise building under construction collapsed, and prompting Myanmar to declare a widespread state of emergency. The midday trembler, with an epicenter near Mandalay, Myanmar's second-largest city, was followed by a strong 6.4 magnitude aftershock. Myanmar's military-run government declared a state of emergency in 6 regions and states including the capital Naypyidaw and Mandalay. But with the country in the midst of a prolonged bloody civil war, it was not clear how help would get to many regions. The Red Cross said downed power lines are adding to challenges for their teams trying to reach Mandalay and Sagaing regions in southern Shan State. Initial reports from the ground suggest the earthquake has caused significant damage, the Red Cross said. Information on humanitarian needs is still being gathered. Crane-topped building collapsed in a cloud of dust. In Bangkok, a construction worker was killed when rubble from the collapsing building site hit his truck and another was crushed by the falling debris, rescue worker Songwat Wongpan told reporters. Earthquake in Southeast Asia. Another 7 were found alive at the site, but an unknown number remain under the rubble, which is currently still too unstable for emergency crews to start looking, he said. A dramatic video of the building's collapse near Bangkok's popular Chatuchak market circulated on social media showed the multi-story building with a crane on top toppling into a cloud of dust, while onlookers screamed and ran. Elsewhere, people in Bangkok evacuated from their buildings were cautioned to stay outside in case there were more aftershocks. The U.S. Geological Survey and Germany's GFZ Center for Geosciences said the earthquake was a shallow 10 kilometers, according to preliminary reports. Screaming and panic as buildings swayed. The sound of sirens echoed throughout central Bangkok and vehicles filled the street, leaving some of the city's already congested streets gridlocked. The elevated rapid transit system and subway were shut down. City Hall declared the city a disaster area to facilitate interagency aid and emergency help. The Greater Bangkok area is home to more than 17 million people, many of whom live in high-rise apartments. Prol Kenikawanakul, who works in an office building in Bangkok's city center, at first didn't even realize it was an earthquake, the first she'd ever experienced. "I just thought I was dizzy," she said. She and her colleagues ran downstairs from the 10th floor of their building, Tun Sun Tower, and waited outside for a signal that it was safe to go back in. All of a sudden, the whole building began to move. Immediately, there was screaming and a lot of panic, said Fraser Morton, a tourist from Scotland, who was in one of Bangkok's many malls shopping for camera equipment. "I just started walking calmly at first, but then the building started really moving. Yeah, a lot of screaming, a lot of panic, people running the wrong way down the escalators. Lots of banging and crashing inside the mall." Like Morton, thousands of people poured into Benjasiri Park from nearby shopping malls, high-rises and apartment buildings along Bangkok's busy Sukhumvit Road. Many were on phones trying to reach loved ones as others sought shade from the hot early afternoon sun. Others stared up fearfully at the tall buildings in the densely packed part of the city. "I got outside and then looked up at the building and the whole building was moving, dust and debris. It was pretty intense," Morton said. "Lots of chaos." Voranut Tharawat, a lawyer working in central Bangkok, said her first indication that something was wrong came when she saw a light swinging back and forth. Then she heard the building creaking as it moved back and forth from the shockwaves.
She and her colleagues ran down 12 flights of stairs. "In my lifetime, there was no earthquake like this in Bangkok," she said. Paul Vincent, a tourist visiting from England, was at a street-side bar when the quake struck. "The next thing, everybody came on the street, so there was a lot of screaming and panicking, which obviously made it a lot worse," he said. As he came onto the street himself, he said he saw a high-rise building swaying and water falling from a rooftop pool. "When I saw the building, oh my God, that's when it hit me," he said. "There was people crying in the streets, and, the panic was horrendous, really. Bridge collapses in Myanmar and injuries reported in China, in Mandalay, Myanmar's second-largest city and close to the epicenter. The earthquake damaged part of the former royal palace and buildings, according to videos and photos released on Facebook social media. While the area is prone to earthquakes, it is generally sparsely populated, and most houses are low-rise structures. In the Sagaing region just southwest of Mandalay, a 90-year-old bridge collapsed, and some sections of the highway connecting Mandalay and Myanmar's largest city, Yangon, were also damaged. Residents in Yangon rushed out of their homes when the quake struck. There were no immediate reports of injuries or deaths. In the capital Naypyidaw, the quake damaged religious shrines, sending parts toppling to the ground, and some homes. To the northeast, the earthquake was felt in Yunnan and Sichuan provinces in China and caused damage to houses and injuries in the city of Ruili on the border with Myanmar, according to Chinese media reports. Videos that one outlet said it had received from a person in Ruili showed building debris littering a street and a person being wheeled in a stretcher toward an ambulance. The shaking in Mangshi, a Chinese city about 100 kilometers, 60 miles, northeast of Ruili, was so strong that people couldn't stand, one resident told the paper, an online media outlet. A resident of Kunming, the provincial capital of Yunnan, told the paper that her ceiling lamp was swinging wildly and the shaking lasted more than 10 seconds. Thailand's Department of Disaster Prevention said the quake was felt in almost all regions of the country. Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra called an emergency meeting to assess the impact of the quake.
Oh my god, okay, I will check it out.